Why vendor leads never actually get better. And if you're paying for vendors, you probably know the quality never really improves over time. There's no compounding effect. Nothing really, again, it never gets better. So in this video, I just want to break down what the actual back end of a vendor model looks like versus when you own your own setup. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not a video to kind of defame the name of vendors. They do some great work in certain scenarios. But again, for the majority, the quality just never improves. And it's something that insurance agencies struggle with a lot of the time. Now, don't get me wrong also, if you're starting out in the insurance space, vendors are a great intro into insurance. They're cost effective. You can really get a lot of volume. But when you're looking to really scale and just break through that next ceiling, vendor leads just aren't really the way forward. And I always recommend that you do try go out on your own and build your own setup. So why vendor leads never get better? If we look at the model versus you versus them, let's just say, vendor model, ownership. Let's go out of the way here. So with the vendor model, they essentially will get leads in here. They'll get them in and they'll just distribute them to different agencies. So let's just use 3. There could be more that get distributed between. They run the ads up at the top here. They'll get those leads in to here and distribute them 3 separate ways. So one, not only are agency A, B, and C competing for the same lead, but nothing goes back up to the top to the vendor to say, hey, you gave me 10. 5 were good, get me more like those 5. It's not how they work. Instead, the agency will just leak at the bottom. They'll have good and they'll have bad. Nothing from the good leads will get channeled back up to the vendor model to say, hey, learn from these leads, get more like those. And same with the bad. Nothing goes back to the top, to the vendor, to say these were bad, don't get more like these. It's not how they work. It's just not the model. It's not that they don't want it to work like that. It's just not the model. They can't possibly have their own ads at the top, feed them across to multiple different agencies, and then have the agency feedback data to the vendor. It just doesn't operate like that. But when you own the model, let's move this further out the way here. When you own that, you get leads in. And these can be anything. These can be Facebook. My handwriting, is it handwriting? I'm left-handed and I'm using the mouse. So you can have Facebook, Google, YouTube, whatever else. Terrible writing here. You can have all of these channels running, right? And you'll get leads from all of them. What happens here, they'll get branched out. Because you own the system, you know which ones are good and which ones are bad. Now, all you need to do within that is essentially set up in whatever CRM, whatever system you're using, to manage your leads, whether it's an agency Zoom one or your own one, Go High Level, whatever it is, you can set a trigger. So let's just say good leads, for you to know it's a good lead, you can set that in your pipeline stage that they automatically go into, whether it's contacted or quoted, very dependent, but let's just say quoted. Bad will go, or just so we don't take up space here, we'll go to bad stage of the pipeline. Now, within that, we can literally say to, let's just use Meta, we can literally say to Meta, when that trigger happens, when you drop a contact, a good lead into the quoted section on your CRM, that's clearly a good sign. If you get a lead in, you ring them, you contacted them, and you've quoted them, that is a good lead. Now, you might even go a step further. You might even say quoted to closed. That might be what you want to set as your trigger. Whatever it is, if it's quoted or closed, now that we have closed here, we'll just use that as the trigger. Instead of you getting all these leads in and just never changing anything or never looking to improve things, you're never going to improve the quality. So what you can do, you can basically set up an AI acquisition loop within your CRM that when a lead is dropped into the closed, we can send a custom conversion back to the top, back to your campaigns. Again, whether it's Facebook, Google, YouTube, TikTok, it doesn't matter. Whatever that channel is, you can send that data back and say, hey, out of these 20 leads you gave us, 20 leads in, let's say 10 quoted and 4 closed. Instead of just Meta thinking, okay, we got 20 leads in, let's learn from that. Let's get more of those 20. That's not what you want to do, because you're not compounding results after that. You're getting 20 in, but again, 10 are bad because you didn't even get to quote them. So again, we don't want to send the 20 leads back to Meta to say, hey, learn from these. We also don't want to send the 10 quoted back because, again, you didn't close anything. What we want to do is send these 4. We want to say, hey, learn this demographic, learn who these people are, and get more of those. So again, over time, your first month, you might get 100 leads in. You might close, let's just say 20. The next month, you want to get Meta to say, hey, learn back up at the top here, take those 20 and go for more of those. So next month, you might get 100 leads in and close 30. And then you might get 100 and close 40 and 50 and 60, because the only data you're giving Meta, Google, YouTube, whatever, the only data you're feeding back are the ones that actually matter. So again, it's a compounding effect. The longer it runs, the better data you'll have, the better results you'll have. And it's just the way that you actually scale, the way you keep it lean. Because again, you don't want to just keep spending and spending and spending by essentially building the same vendor model, but you just own it. All that will do is just get you the same results at a cheaper cost. You don't want that. In the very beginning, it's probably not the worst thing to do. It's better than essentially paying 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks per lead when you can do the same thing and get them for 10. But you don't want to keep it there. You want to improve that model yourself. And that all comes back to ownership. You need ownership to win. You need to own the systems outright. You need to get that. You need to feed back the closed, back to the top. You don't want to feed the good leads or the bad leads. You only want to feed closed. Maybe quoted. If you have a bad close rate, you might look at doing the quote and obviously fix your close. Again, 20 leads in doesn't matter. 10 quoted may not matter. Your closed is what really matters. And once you own it, you have full view of all this stuff, and you can really just make educated decisions. We never ever want to feed back bad leads to Meta, but the vendor model or that system, that's what it does. It just sends anyone who clicked the button, go get more of those, as many leads as we can at as cheap of a rate as we possibly can, because the more they get at a cheaper cost, the more profit they make, essentially. So I hope this makes sense. I know it's scribbly and messy and my writing is pretty all over the shop, but hopefully it gives you an understanding of like the difference between ownership and essentially renting. You need ownership to scale. You need ownership to break through. And this is essentially how you do it in as simple of a breakdown as possible. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more videos like this, or you want to actually get this stuff built out for you, send us an email at hello@sortumagency.com, or just book in a call directly and we can jump on and see if we can build this stuff out for you.